Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. And welcome to everybody, wherever you may be listening, all you terrestrial radio, maybe you're listening on your laptop, your cell phone, all you podcasters. We are really pretty much in just about every country in the world that we're not banned in. So we're not in town. We're actually, believe it or not, we're in Russia, we're in Ukraine, we're in South America, we're in Europe, Australia, Canada, hello. Share that podcast with everybody out there so they too can get the word out. You go to allamericangold.com on the right-hand side. We show we got YouTube. We got all the social media stuff that you can listen to us on. We don't do a lot other than post podcast, but it's out there for everybody. We got a lot of things to talk about. It's so much to the point I'm not even sure where to start. Gold's down today. For no reason. I say this. I think gold's got I think the bottom is in. We'll probably know more tomorrow. I'm really worried about Wall Street today. It's up right now, not very much. Got another beat down yesterday. Was down another 800 points. Over Friday, it was down 900 points. Get ready for the next leg down. This is just the beginning. We've got listen, Wall Street's got a lot further to go here. If you're in your little trading accounts, get to the sidelines and stay there. There'll be better buying opportunities down the road. You want help with that, call my son Joey, 602-909-9048. Let him worry about it. I'm going to tell you, the earnings numbers were just atrocious. Outside of Microsoft had a good number, Visa, Google, aka Alphabet, one of the worst numbers I've seen out of them. Now, don't get me wrong, they still made a bunch of money, but they missed top line, bottom line. They missed everywhere. Boeing getting absolutely hammered. The only good news out of Boeing is, hey, they still think they won't have to have another stock offering to raise more cash. They're hopeful they won't run out of cash before the end of the year. And it was just a litany of bad earnings numbers that came out. Trade deficits numbers were new all-time record high. Trade deficit, that's money leaving the United States. I mean, shockingly bad numbers. UPS said, hey, our numbers are absolutely horrible. And then obviously the biggest thing is the gas situation in Europe. And Jason, this is a very fluid situation as of this morning. Poland, and there was another country. It was, I'm drawing a blank right here, Jason.
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, thank you. Poland and Bulgaria, no gas for you. Hungary and Austria said, hey, we'll pay in rubles, so they have gas. Germany's on the clock, Jason.
Yeah, Joe, the markets are showing some stress about this news. I mean, we're less than a week ago, we're down 5% on the market. So I mean, you're seeing a lot of just people are unsure about what the future holds, Joe. And prices are higher. It takes longer to get stuff, and it seems like every time you turn around, Joe, there's something crazy going on. And now what? You got fuel shortages looking like they're going to head to most of Europe because Poland's that's a big country not to get their natural gas, Joe.
Yeah, and again, Poland, Bulgaria is significantly not super, important, but important enough. The biggest thing here. So natural gas prices here in the U.S. up another 5% today, $7.25 for natural gas here in the U.S., and it's only going to get worse. This is a situation where, hey, for the next couple of weeks, they'll have gas. They've got storage. But as this thing rolls on, it's going to only get worse and worse and worse. I think the other thing that we've got to remember, Russia's debt payments. The United States hasn't budged. Russia tried to make the payments. We prevented the payments from happening. Then Russia tried to pay in rubles. We prevented that from happening. They will enter a technical default. I want to say it's the second week of May, so we got that as well.
That's exactly right, Joe. That's right. You're right. Poland isn't a huge country, but number 21, it's 21st biggest economy in the world. Hey, you're not going to get half your oil, Joe. Never mind.
Half their natural gas over there in Poland. And I guess and again, I don't want to downplay it because it is absolutely significant because as you follow the pipeline through, either you're going to put it into rubles or you're not going to get the gas. It really is going to hinge now on Germany. What's Germany going to do? Here's the funny thing. The ruble skyrocketing. Matter of fact, the Russian ruble is now more valuable, if you will, than when the invasion started, and the euro is absolutely collapsing right now. The euro at multi-year lows, almost back to parity with the U.S. dollar. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Hump Day Wednesday, and just a lot going on. Vladimir Putin. If someone wants to meddle in Ukraine, Russia's response will be quick. We have the tools for this. The kind that no one else can boast of right now, and we won't brag. We will just use them if needed. Okay, everyone can decipher for yourself exactly what the weapons Putin is talking about. But the rhetoric is heating up. The actions are heating up. And that's probably the scariest thing. And I keep saying, why do we keep continuing to poke the bear? But here we are. It is official now. Sweden and Finland are going to apply for NATO membership in May. So think about a lot of things in May. We got Russian default in May. Finland, and this is them joining the military wing of Europe, if you will. Just another escalation here.
Absolutely, Joe. The Poland sending tanks to Ukraine probably didn't make Russia very happy, right? So it will take away your natural gas, and of course that always leads to something else. And, hey, Germany, we're going to take away your natural gas because you might send something to help arm Ukraine. And I'm not in Ukraine, and I don't really trust what the news is saying about what's actually happening there. We all know that I can trust that there's an actual war going on. There are pictures, there's things being blown up, but Joe, this is one of those things. I don't believe everything they're saying, and it's hard to back anybody in government that says we're going to do anything about this situation. Me personally, I'm more of an isolationist anyways. What are we even doing there? Why are we even worried about it? And why do these other countries, are they sticking their necks out and pushing Russia? And I think the answer is clear, Joe. Financially, these countries are all backed by the same individuals, companies, banks, and whatnot. And this is what they want. So we have to sit here powerlessly and watch as these overlords, spin their webs of power, and I'm going to do this, and you're going to do that, and we have to, the average person, they have no idea. They have no idea. Just like the average person has no idea what gold is and why you should own it. That's why people listen to this station. You've got to get smart about this stuff if you're trying to take care of yourself and your family, and your community or whatnot, Joe, you need to be able to know this stuff so that you know, hey, this stuff is not what they're saying on the news. This is not what my little phone is telling me it is, Joe.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's the spin police. We know that. And again, I go back to when this was all starting. Why? I mean, no offense to the Ukrainian people. That's not what this is about. But this was a corrupt country that was really a glorified arms dealer and a bastion for crypto thieves. I mean, that's what Ukraine was. I mean, yeah, and they provided grains. They definitely were a big provider of grains, and then of course we realized neon of all things, right? But this was not an important country by any. I don't think for anybody outside of Russia. And again, I know why we're here, and it has nothing to do with the Donbass region or Crimea. It doesn't have anything to do with that. This is a deliberate cause, bankers' war once again. And I think at the end of this war, this is what's going to happen. We are going to have a digital currency. China, I think, is going to take a bigger spot on the world stage. Japan is going to be basically thrown out. I think Japan is as far as a financial power. You know, remember they used to always talk about the yen carry trade. Remember that kind of stuff? Yeah, that's done, right? Japan's going to be done. Europe is going to be significantly weakened. And, of course, the U.S. dollar is going to be weakened. We're going to have another big depression here. It's going to be different than the 30s. Like we said the other day, this will be more of an inflationary type of depression. And it all could have been avoided, all should have been avoided, but yet here we are, and it's it's not by surprise. Military spending now $2 trillion globally. It's gotten all out of hand. But let me give you some things that aren't Russia, Ukraine. Things that we need to look at. So we had new home sales, not good. Right? Existing home sales, they weren't good either. Today we got pending home sales. Now, according to Case Shiller, who I think probably, if you want to believe anything you read in housing, it's probably Case Shiller that he does the best work on it. 6 months of pending home sale declines before you start seeing price declines. We just got our 5th month in a row, and this was a March number. And they put in here, this was before, most of the data was collected before the rates started moving down another 1.2%. And that's, you're like, oh, it's only 1.2%. That's month over month. So that'd be a 14% plus, almost 14.5% decline. I think April we're going to see a really big number. We're going to see, and again, even if home prices stay, let's just say they stop going up, but they kind of stay where they're at. Can the U.S. economy handle a 20, 30, 40% decline in home sales and still grow the economy? It's not likely. This is one of the things I think, Jason, we're going to have to really pay close attention to. By the way, home sales now are on pace to go all the way back to May of 2020. And, of course, remember what happened, what was going on April and May of 2020. The whole economy was shutting down. And they're saying this is where home sales are going back to, Jason.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait to see how that affects pricing. But, I mean, Joe, let's face it, the pricing of the home and getting the loans are getting so impossible that it has to go down. These numbers have to go down. Now, what are they going to go down to, and how is that going to affect price and interest rates? Because we know the interest rates are going to keep going up at least for a while. So when does the thing start to break and they say, oh, you know what, we're going back to zero, because we don't even know if it's going to do that for sure. This is new territory we're heading into. We can go by history, but you also got to know that every situation that looks like another one. I mean, in the 70s with inflation, Joe, interest rates were skyrocketing up. They stayed up for quite a long time. They went, even in the 80s when they dropped down, they stayed higher than they are now. It was more like a real economy. But, I mean, Joe, we have no idea. We have no idea where it's going to end up.
Something very interesting as well. I'm going to, I'm so glad you brought that up. Because inside of the pending home sales, right, they indicate the type of loan. And normally when we think about housing, 30-year fixed. 30-year fixed. Guess what loan is making a huge comeback? The adjustable rate mortgage. Skyrocketing. And what that means, what that tells me, is the people that are buying these homes right now. Number one, you go adjustable rate because it starts out cheaper, right? Because they're trying to afford the payment. Their hope is what Jason was talking about. Yeah, they're going to raise rates, but they're going to break it, and it's going to be quick. Right? In another year, a year from now, the Fed is going to be back to zero. That's what a lot of people in the that are buying these homes right now, we're seeing a big increase in the adjustable rate mortgage. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I think that's a good bet. I do. I absolutely believe the Fed is absolutely clueless. They're going to break this thing, and then they're going to run back to zero. But again, here's the interesting part to Jason's point. Can you run back to zero with massive inflation, right, Jason?
That's correct, Joe. And another mortgage I've been hearing about, and I think maybe a little over a year ago I talked about this, you and I did. And I had thrown out there the 1% mortgage and the 40-year. The 40-year mortgage at 1%. That could be very likely, too, Joe, if the housing prices just don't come down because of inflation. You stretch it out to 40 years, you bring the rates back down to zero when the markets are crashing, and you give that really that small interest rate. But let's face it, the property owners like BlackRock, they would rather you take care of all the expenses of things breaking on the house, right, Joe? That makes it more affordable for them. So the 40-year mortgage, I mean, you're putting all that money is going into interest, right?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that. That's another good point. Could we see that materialize? That's a possibility, right? To see if maybe because the problem is normally the longer you go out on the scale, the higher the interest rate. But we'll have to see. That's going to be interesting because, as Jason said, hey, we'll add 10 more years on a loan, make it more affordable. It's just like cars. People forget. People got such short memories. The new car loans used to be 3 years. Of course, that was when most cars were less than $10,000. And then they went to 4, and then they were at 5. I mean, now they're at like 8. Right? And all as they're doing, right, Jason, is trying to get you into a payment. Right? Hey, let's fit the payment. Let's go to a 40-year mortgage, a 50-year mortgage. Very possible. There's a lot of different factors. And again, to those adjustable rates, I know it sounds right. But can the Fed really cut rates with massive inflation? Let me give you some things that again, I know Russia and the gas and all that. Farmers. The last several weeks, this is planting season. And farmers all across, and they're saying from essentially Montana, draw a line, Montana, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, all the way over to like the Ohio Valley region. Saying that the planting for farmers has been massively delayed. They say that the northern plains have been battered by blizzards, winter storms, high winds. There's been extreme flooding. Temperatures have been much colder than normal, and the ground has been too wet to do most of the planting. They say every week planting is delayed, the yields shrink, right? And that makes sense. Hey, the later you are. They're now saying that especially in the Dakotas, and what they're calling the northern plains to the Midwest to the Ohio Valley, that farmers may not be able to plant until May due to widespread above average moisture, widespread well below average temperatures, and they're saying that the Dakotas are going to be the worst, followed by the northern plains, the Midwest to the Ohio Valley, and says get ready for even higher food prices now, Jason.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that on the other side, Joe, and maybe a little more. I got some things we'll cover when we get back.
800-951-0592. I know we got some sound quality issues we got to fix coming today, where the issue is it's not anything we can control, but the pipe, if you will. We're at the max here at the radio station, so we had to go to a different place. A lot of growth here, a lot of office, or well, not really office, mostly warehouse and apartments being built all over where our offices is, and the provider the service isn't keeping up. So later today, we're going to get a big new pipe, and so hopefully that will fix some of the sound quality issues that we've been having over the last couple of weeks. But it definitely has been frustrating, but bear with us. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll have it all ready to go. Really quickly, and we'll go back to the issues with food. Just a major warning from the Department of Agriculture about planting season. Arizona, we got no water. Now they're saying the problem for Canada, the northern plains, all the way through the Midwest, too much water, too cold the temperatures, going to make that problem even worse. Germany, remember I told you it's all about Germany. They made a statement today as the EU is trying to impose this ban on Russian gas and rubles. Germany said for the first time it's ready to back a gradual ban on Russian oil. Didn't say anything about Russian gas. Russia's major gas bank rejected a payment from a trading firm in Germany that seized Moscow's control. So I'm just trying to read this as this is breaking here. So right now, Gazprom, Russia's major gas supplier, is indicating it rejected some April and May gas delivery payments, even though it was made in rubles per Russia's attempt, on the basis that the German government took over a Gazprom subsidiary inside of Germany, Jason.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like the situation's good, right, Joe? When we bring up the natural gas that is not going to be going to Poland and then possibly Germany being the next one, this is something that people need to be aware of, because, Poland, it's only the 21st biggest economy, Joe, but when Germany's not getting their natural gas from Russia, and then Poland doesn't get their natural gas from Russia, well, then Germany and Poland are going to have to compete against each other to go find these sources, Joe. And then you're talking about people. You're talking about right inside Germany. Germany trying to allocate and compete, and that it's just going to make it more expensive and make it harder. You're going to create some problems between these allied countries, Joe. And then when it comes time to getting resources, man, it gets to be every man for himself, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll continue to update you on that. Right now, I don't see a huge reaction in the marketplace. Like I said, U.S. natural gas prices up 4 or 5%. European natural gas prices are just off the charts right now. But back to food. So we got farmers can't plant. And they're showing these massive farms that are completely underwater up in the Dakotas, up in Canada, and saying this is going to delay the planting season. Tyson Foods. So remember, this is how idiotic the Biden administration is. Dragged in all the big meat companies. It's your fault, right? For the skyrocketing beef prices and chicken and poultry. So Tyson Foods was testifying in front of the U.S. Agriculture Committee. Right, so this is basically just about senators and House of Representatives that get put on the Agriculture Committee, and they're taking questions. And Tyson Foods, their CEO said, "Hey, listen. First of all, we don't set the price for either cattle. We don't set the price for any of the chicken or anything else. Right? That's." They got a stock exchange, and they got the pits, and they got slaughterhouse, and we don't set the price. The prices are set by the straightforward market forces, namely, guess what? Economics 101, supply and demand. They said that we just don't have enough people to fully staff our plants. Which resulted in a sudden and swift rise in the oversupply of cattle and a corresponding drop in cattle prices. At the same time, a skyrocketing price for the finished goods, right? This is going back during the coronavirus. They said, yeah, you're right, because the ranchers were like, hey, they're not paying us anywhere close to high cattle prices. And Tyson Foods said, well, yeah, because we only could process X amount of cattle because we didn't have enough employees. And now they said everything else has skyrocketed. Labor prices have skyrocketed. Fuel prices have skyrocketed. And the already low supply having this major impact. The most important thing you really had to say outside of, I don't know why we're here, right? Because I don't set the cattle price. But the biggest thing he said is the problem continues to get worse, and that we can expect even higher prices later this year, Jason.
Right, Joe. And I mentioned this a couple of times. When the USSR's economy was in shambles, because it was really an economic war, the Cold War, and the wall came down. Well, Russia had depression. They had inflation, hyperinflation, and it went on and on and on. They actually they defaulted on themselves in 1998. So that went on for like a decade. And one of the things, Joe, is supply issues that they had, and they had issues with their agriculture and their herds. And I think it was Bill that came on one time. And there was another time we had read a few articles where a lot of their poultry and their beef and everything, those herds went down, and I think to this day they said they still haven't really replenished the cattle and the agriculture that they lost in the 1990s, Joe. I mean, they're barely recovering from that. Maybe the fact that Russia is doing what they're doing now is that they've come fully back, I guess. But this could be a problem that never ends, Joe, when it comes to agriculture, right?
Well, again, I just heighten this. Can the Fed, because we know they're raising rates, we know they're going to break it, can they lower rates still have massive inflation. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. I finally had some takers on some Silver Eagles. I've got Silver Eagles $50 a roll less today than yesterday. By the way, silver's at $23.40, so it's about 10 cents less than yesterday. $50 a roll less. U.S. Silver Eagles, $790 to the roll today at 800-951-0592. It's the first time we've had Silver Eagles. We spent, the last 2 weeks asking people to sell. Gold's down 20. You know what I got from our wholesalers? Where we buy our gold from. Hey, you got any? Will you sell us any gold today? Prices, physical gold prices, unchanged. Essentially, there is none. U.S. $20 gold pieces, $22.25. That's the price. That's what it is today. But U.S. Silver Eagles, they were $840 a roll. They're down to $790 a roll at 800-951-0592. The trade deficit. I don't know how this could happen. This is a March number, up almost 18% in the wrong direction. An all-time record high, $125.3 billion in a single month. If you annualize that, and you'd be at $1.5 trillion. That's the amount of wealth leaving the United States. They said that the trade, commercial goods imports were up almost 14%. Exports were only up 7%. And Jason, it's just another one of these things where year after year, month after month, it goes on and on and on about all of this wealth heading to these other nations. And really, they're heading to the nations that really aren't on our side with the Russia thing, right? They're heading to China. They're heading to India. They're heading to Brazil, heading to Mexico. And these are countries that really aren't aligned with us.
That's right, Joe. That's right. There's, from my position, Joe, yeah, I agree with what we're told. I think that the powers that be control all of these countries, Joe. I think it's orchestrated. But you're right. If you're living in America and you want your standard of living to stay strong or get even stronger, this is not going to do it. What is happening today in the world is going to make your standard of living lower, Joe. I mean, the cryptocurrency, the digital currency that we're going to have in the future, it's going to bring us to a new lower standard of living, Joe. And I think the average person is going to embrace this thing, Joe. That's the sad thing about it all. We're going to have a lower standard of living, Joe. And these ETFs, which is going to be linked to digital currencies, Joe, they're going to lower people's standards of living, and people are going to think that they are doing better. They're actually going to pull this one off, Joe, I think, where you attach an ETF to actual physical things. And just think how many people walk around. They like to brag about whatever, So, like attaching an ETF to a Snoop Dogg song. Have you seen this? You can buy a piece of Snoop Dogg's newest song. Now you can strut around saying, "I own one of Snoop Dogg's songs." Yeah, right. Well, what little, less than 1% of it that you own, or half of a 0.5%, right, Joe? But I think ETFs, Joe, this lower standard of living, what a great way for bankers to have you own just a piece of your house. And by the way, you got to pay some of that taxes, and you got to pay for the upkeep, but you get to own part of the house. I mean, this is one way you can sell houses to people, Joe, and the bankers are happy because you're going to take care of the house because you own just a piece of it with an ETF. They own the rest of it, right, Joe? It's like renting, and you take care of all of the fixes and the taxes, right?
So many more levers for them to use against us. It's something where, and I bring up all the shortages. Canned pet food, baby formula, right? I mean, all of these little things, and I think the problem is going to be worse. And I know it's only the end of April, and I keep saying, wait till October. You got to wait for October. That's not that long. This is why buy your gold and silver now while it's a whole lot less expensive. Because the realities are when this digital currency comes, and this is going to be part of the reason for having it, we're going to stop the hoarding, right? I can hear it now. This is how we're going to fix it all. You can only buy X amount of cooking oil. You can only buy X amount of beef, or you can only buy so many eggs, or you can, and then of course, after that's over with, then they can get into, hey, you can't buy this type of gun. You can't buy this type of ammunition. You can't buy from this business owner because you know what? He did things we didn't like. You can only buy so many things from a company with a low ESG score. This is what's coming to America, Jason.
That's correct, Joe. That's correct. And the lower standard of living. I joined up with Joe in 2018, Brian and myself. And when we did fractional gold, the one thing that would sell really well was the $5 Liberty, the quarter ounce. And people would jump all over that when it was a lot cheaper than it is today. Now, Joe, we don't get $5 Liberties as frequently, but the really popular gold to buy is the 10th ounce. Because people just can't get that $5 Liberty, Joe, and you should be able to get the same amount of gold at whatever income you're at, but that's not what's happening. Our lower standard of living, you're getting less, and you're paying more for it, Joe.
Yeah, and to Jason's point, the 10th ounce is actually cheaper than the $5 Liberties right now. This is how backwards everything really is. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Got U.S. Silver Eagles, $50. It's kind of funny to say that. $50 off from where they were just yesterday. They're $790 as gold is down. Silver is down, but not very much. Gold's down about $18 as the dollar is really making a move as the euro, with all of the gas problems, the euro and the yen. The yen's been crashing for a while now, but crashing even lower. Like I said, today, hopefully by tomorrow, the sound quality issues that we've had here, and again, they were really, I won't name the company whose fault it is, but due to the growth in a warehouse and apartments, the internet speed I'm supposed to be getting versus what I'm actually getting are two different things. But the good news is we are going to have a massive new pipe being put in today that is so much bigger than what we actually need, that even if I don't get what I'm supposed to get, it'll still be way more than needed, and hopefully that'll fix all these things up. So I apologize for that. It kind of caught us off guard because it was been working really well until it wasn't. 800-951-0592. We'll watch how all of this plays out. This is a very dangerous time for the markets as interest rates are going to be much higher. I think the question today is, can the Fed reverse course with inflation being higher? And I've got to sit. My answer is yes. I think they'll just get rid of the 2% target. They'll change it and say, hey, the new target's 4 or 5%. I think all the shortages and supply chain issues, somehow they're going to convince us that the new digital currency is going to be the fix for all of it. And we'll be here the whole way watching this play out as it does right now. I think that there are definitely going to be a lot of losers when it comes to currencies. Japan probably being the biggest loser, followed by Europe, followed by us. The winner in all of this is probably going to be the BRIC nations, and mainly China. Put that gold and silver away, 800-951-0592.
What a good time to get gold and silver, because it's not going to stay where it's at. At some point in the very near future, you're going to see gold taking off like a rocket ship. Buy it now. See ya.